Good morning, everyone. So a big welcome from the Icon team. We are very excited to introduce the first episode of our Leveling Up series. These episodes were forged from feedback that we've received from our advisors, PAs, paraplanners, and industry observations that we've made. The intention is to help you scale, reduce risk, give you more time to do the important things that you need to be doing on a daily basis, and achieve better client outcomes. Our presenter today needs no introduction. You would have all dealt with Jonathan in one capacity or other. He's one of our founders and jack of all trades. He says a master of none, but I tend to disagree. I'm Samantha, Solution Specialist in Technical Marketing in Icon, and I'll be manning the chat box today. So please pop your questions if you have any, and we'll ensure to get your response during or after the presentation. I hope you all have a coffee, tea, water, or mimosa if you're starting your weekend early. No judgments here. We'd like you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Over to you, Jono.
Cool. Thanks, Sam. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. All right. Cool, everyone. Yeah, so just to kick things off, I think to reiterate what Sam said, this session or these sessions are really focused around helping you get the most out of Icon and our value proposition. So we're always trying to refine things, always trying to improve our tools, our processes, and our value in general. And I think, how can people get the most out of it if they maybe aren't aware of everything? So this is just a refresher on why Icon exists, what we do offer you in terms of our value proposition, and some of the improvements that we've made over the past weeks and months, and then some of the improvements that are still to come. So please ask questions along the way. If you're unsure of anything, drop a question into the Q&A, and Sam will either bring it up during the course of the session, or we can talk about it at the end. And please, if you do want to have any follow-up sessions to discuss any of these points and maybe flesh out in a bit more detail how we can embed ourselves in your advice process, we're very open and excited to do that. We're obviously here to partner with you and at the end of the day get the best outcomes for your clients. It's what we're really passionate about. And on that note, I just want to quickly deep dive into why Icon exists. There's really three key stats that we've built our business around, and they're things that get us out of bed every single day. And the first one is the retirement reality in South Africa. It's a bleak one. So 6% of South Africans can afford to retire at age 65. I think that stat is a couple of years old. 10X released their retirement reality report last year, and I think that percentage has slipped to 5. We can do something about this. We can't do anything about the socioeconomic issues, but we can give advice. We can help clients save, and we can structure their finances in a way that gets them closer and closer to a comfortable retirement at age 65. We can move the needle. And that's what Icon's trying to do. We're trying to assist you guys in doing it. The other one is the over and under insurance gap in South Africa. And it's a very, very interesting stat, something that most people aren't aware of, where young South Africans are massively underinsured. Yet in the age group 55 and over, they're massively overinsured. And again, our philosophy, everything that we do, we aim to rebalance this situation. Help young clients sufficiently insure themselves in an affordable, sustainable manner, and structure their insurance in such a way that they can save as much as possible and not be overinsured in the future. And then lastly, the amount of new business sold in South Africa, or how we are growing the pie, so to say, in terms of giving more advice to more South Africans. And it's just a very, very difficult thing to do. It's not scalable. It doesn't make sense to give advice to those clients that can afford 100 or 200 Rand premiums. And that's just because the industry has become so unnecessarily complex. With legislation, with compliance, with product, it's not getting any simpler. So what we're trying to do, or one of the things we're trying to do, is give advisors more time, help them scale their businesses so that they can give more advice to more South Africans. And I'll get more into how we're doing this later on in the presentation, all of these things. A little bit on the fluffy stuff. So the vision, the mission, it's not something that we talk about enough, I don't think. But our vision is to really help South Africans achieve financial freedom. And I think a lot of financial service institutions in South Africa have a very similar vision. But I think the way that we are trying to do it is very, very different. So we're trying to democratize great financial advice and give the best value to customers. And how do we do that? So we do it by assisting financial advisors to give more informed financial advice. We help them cut through the noise, so to say, and really navigate this increasingly complex product space. In terms of clients, so we want to help clients find the best product for them. We want to help them uncover the best value. We want to help them spend their money on the things that really matter. And obviously save as much money as possible. No one gets out of bed in the morning and says, I want to buy insurance today. It's a product that has to be sold. It's a necessary evil, is what a lot of people say. It's probably a bit dramatic, but it's something that people need, and it serves a need for a finite period of time. And with the incredible products that we have at our disposal today, we can really do it in a clever, innovative, efficient way that's going to help people save money from day one up until the day that they retire. Okay, so enough about that. I really want to focus on some of the stuff that we've improved, the processes and tools that we've been building, and like I said, the stuff that's still to come. So in this series, we're going to be focusing on, first of all, the quoting and new business journey. We will be touching on one or two other things, but this is really what we want to focus on. At Icon, we've made it our mission to try and embed ourselves in your advice process. And what that means is every single time you sit in front of a client or are going to sit in front of a client, we want you to think of us first, because I think we are willing to and will do so much more than a traditional distribution channel. And I'll show you what that entails. But a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the meeting preparation, a lot of just the thought, trying to weigh up options. Is this option better than that option? Should I do this or should I do that? We want to be your sounding board. We want to be your partner. We want to talk to you about these things and help you make those decisions. Because as I've said more than once already in this presentation, it's a complex space and it's not getting any simpler, and it's impossible to remember everything. So try and outsource some of that thinking to someone who does it every single day. It's really, really difficult to keep abreast of risk and investments and short-term and legal and compliance and medical aid. I just don't know how advisors are doing it. So at least some of the thinking or the collaborative thinking can happen with Icon. The next episode in this series is going to be managing reviews effectively. So this is something we've been giving a lot of thought to. We think it's an incredibly important aspect of the financial advice journey. And we want to make reviews relevant, valuable for not only clients, but advisors as well. And then lastly will be a very practical session, probably a series of sessions and one-on-ones. And this is really upskilling you and your staff on systems. So every company has a different system. They have a different process. They have different underwriting philosophies. And again, it's incredibly difficult to stay abreast of these. I think knowledge is power, you know, the old cliche. And the more autonomous and empowered you guys are, the better experiences and service we can deliver to our customers. So the last session is going to be focused around that, really around service delivery. And then before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want to sow a seed of thought, and I'll end the session with what I really mean. So this might be a bit vague and obscure, but the product that we are selling is not the product. And I think the industry has really gone awry in terms of obsessing over product. And it's to serve no one else's end but the insurers and product providers. There's so much noise in the system around products, but at the end of the day, the product is not our product. And I'll end that train of thought there, but keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this presentation, and I'll wrap it up by finishing off that thought. So what are we trying to achieve for our advisors at Icon? The first pillar in our value proposition. So our value proposition has 4 pillars. The first one is really helping you scale. And what that means is we want to remove the distractions, the noise, support you in every facet of your business so that you can do what you do best. And that is forging client relationships and giving advice to your clients. The next pillar is reducing your risk. So there's very little in the insurance space that helps you navigate and give advice that is both replicable and defensible and, you know, universally relevant. In the investment space, there's tons of this stuff. There's discretionary fund managers, there's research houses, there are thousands of tools. But in the insurance space, there is no best practice out there to help you. And that's really what we've tried to do. So we've developed processes, we've done tons of research, and we're trying to obviously, you know, pass this on to our advisors so that they can have a process and a philosophy that is replicable and defensible, but more importantly, a philosophy that they can translate to their customers, and really help them understand the decisions and the advice that we are giving to them. Time, obviously life's most valuable commodity. We're trying to put more time back in your diary so that you can do the important stuff. And this will become more apparent later on in the presentation, how we're doing it, but we're trying to do it in a number of ways. We're trying to consolidate, we're trying to streamline, and we're trying to do a lot of the heavy lifting that you may be doing yourselves. And then lastly, we're trying to achieve better client outcomes. So this is all of the things that we talk about kind of bundled together, and it's also in our philosophy. So how can we give advice in a more efficient way? How can we save our customers time? How can we give advice to more customers? And most importantly, how can we cover them for their risks whilst helping them save as much as possible and create wealth? And those are the 4 pillars that we're going to really build this presentation around. So I'm going to work through those 4 pillars, starting off with how we scale and ending off with how we achieve better client outcomes. And in terms of how we're helping advisors scale, it's not only in the way we distribute products, you know, having one entry point for a plethora of different product providers. It is in our processes as well. But I think the main thing is how we distribute product. And it's very different to a traditional distribution model. at Icon, we've decided to divide the traditional BC, the traditional kind of BC responsibilities. And broker consultants, since they were invented, for lack of a better word, have been responsible for too many things. I believe that they are generally set up for failure. They are expected to be practice management experts. They're expected to be industry experts, helping advisors day to day grow their business. They're expected to be product specialists, legal specialists, underwriting specialists, and in addition to that, delivering excellent service. They need to understand processes. They need to respond timeously. And in addition to that, they're also expected to be on the road all day. So, I've been there. You're expected to do 5 face-to-face meetings a day. I don't understand how you can do that when you're expected to do everything else. So we've really created a team of experts, all with skills in different areas, and we've allowed them to do what they do best. So at Icon, there's 3 departments, and every single advisor has access. 2 people will have a dedicated person in each of those 3 departments. The first department is the key relationship manager. So the key relationship manager is really there to be your business partner, to help you navigate the business world, to help you with things like client acquisition, succession planning, and really, building processes within your business that allows it to run efficiently and effectively. They're also the service escalation channel. So we have worked very closely with management at all the companies that we represent. We have very clear communication channels with them to management at the highest levels. So if anything ever goes wrong, your key relationship manager is the person to call. We put out fires, we escalate things, and we manage conflict on a day-to-day basis. So again, we're really there to make sure that things run smoothly for your business, whether it's internally within your practice or externally with you and other product providers. The next department, and this is really the engine room of Icon, and where a lot of the magic happens, is your solution specialist. So your solution specialist, these are the propeller heads. They understand product and they understand financial advice and plan. So they're going to train you on the products, and most importantly, they're going to help you put solutions together. And we don't call them quotes at Icon. We call them solutions because they're not just a quote. And they're going to collaborate with you. With every single client you have, please collaborate with your solution specialist. They have so many ideas. They have, in terms of arrows in your quiver, they have thousands. So there may be ideas, there may be products and things that you aren't aware of because it's impossible for you guys to stay abreast of everything in the marketplace. They're going to, pop a tool out of the toolbox where it's best suited, because every client has different needs, and they're able to identify and meet those needs with really clever ideas. They're also there to create sales campaigns, implement sales campaigns, drive them for you, and lastly, give you all of the research, marketing, and support material that you need to have really powerful engagements with your customers. And then lastly, the unsung heroes at Icon who sit behind the scenes, I'm sure you've corresponded with a lot of them, are the support team. And they're responsible for probably the most at Icon. Their job starts as soon as an application comes into the Icon system, all the way through to when a claim is paid for one of your clients in need. They make sure that you look like rock stars in front of your customers. They make sure your underwriting processes run smoothly. they're sitting on the telephone fighting with a call center or an underwriter, and oftentimes it goes unseen and unheard. So your admin support team are really there to do pretty much everything for you. If you in terms of after sales service, so new business, underwriting, servicing, alterations, general queries, claims, and even training and system support if anyone on your team ever needs it. So yeah, really, I'm very proud of them, and yeah, big shout out to the support team. And then just a reminder regarding our product partners. So there's 7 to date, and I think each one of them serves a very niche market or a very niche solution, and they're all incredibly complementary to one another. So Capital Legacy, the first step in the financial planning process, handles all of our wills, estates, fiduciary, and obviously do it incredibly well, the biggest in South Africa by far. In terms of life and living benefits, Bidvest Life, formerly known as FMI, Sanlam, Hollard, and the new kids on the block, Elevate, who are backed by Alan Gray, doing some incredibly exciting things. Glacier for all of your discretionary and compulsory investments, and then just the post-retirement specialists who again are making waves in the industry in South Africa. So that's just one of the ways that we're trying to help you guys scale your business, giving you access to a team of specialists in very separate areas, in addition to the processes, the quoting, the single entry points, and all of the other stuff that I'm going to show you throughout the rest of the presentation. In terms of what we've developed to reduce your risk, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, guys, because this is our philosophy. It sits at the heart of what we do, but it's not what this presentation is about. The reason I want to show you this is to say it's there if you aren't aware of it. I hope everyone is aware of it. But what I want to encourage you to do is please meet with us. If you don't have a philosophy when it comes to risk, we'd love to create one with you. It doesn't have to be our philosophy. We would love to help you create your own philosophy. We can take bits and pieces of Icon's philosophy and create something together. But I think this is becoming more and more important in what we do day to day. And what is our risk philosophy? So first of all, it starts off with risk guidance. So risk guidance is a lot of research, claim stats, and guidelines that we've put together to help advisors make efficient decisions on behalf of their clients, or help them have those conversations with their clients so that the clients can understand the magnitude of the decisions that they're making. So it covers things like cover prioritization. So this is a very basic concept. What cover do you put in place first, second, third, fourth, and fifth if you have limited affordability? Clients don't know because there are so many biases, there's so much misinformation out there that they find it difficult to actually make logical decisions sometimes. It's looking at how do we maximize savings and cover from day one, and how do we improve claim certainty, by just looking at claim statistics, waiting periods, products in general. What are the roadblocks that are going to potentially hinder a claim between product A, B, and C? Are your clients aware of that? Have you disclosed it to them? And as I said, we've got this all documented. We've got all the claim stats over the past 30 years and a lot of independent research that we can rebrand for you, put it into a document, and you can share that with your customers. It really helps to frame and solidify the advice that you've been given, that you're giving, so that when a customer looks at their policy or their solution, they can understand the context around why they have what they have. And I think that makes the advice more sticky. It improves, things like lapse ratios, but more importantly, it strengthens the relationship and the advice that you've given to your customer. The next thing is objective product research. So this is something we feel really strongly about at Icon. There are so many objective product comparisons out there, but none of them are objective. There's so much noise. Every product provider does this. And guess what? Their comparison ticks all of the boxes, because the things that they're comparing, well, a lot of the things they're comparing aren't important. And what is important? Well, we've created a checklist of things that we believe are important. We've objectively compared the market to them, so that, again, you can have peace of mind and your clients can have peace of mind that the product that they're purchasing is relevant for them. They understand the positives and the negatives, and you have protected yourself from an advice perspective. And then lastly, we've developed a set of special tools. So this is proposal documents, calculators, the product checklist that I've referred to now. So these, again, are just added tools to your toolbox that you can use to have more powerful conversations with your customers. Quickly, just to show you our prioritization guide. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this for the sake of time. It's already 10:30, sure. So this is just saying, what cover do we prioritize should a client have limited affordability? What comes second? And what are the stats that inform and back up these views? So we can have views, we can have opinions, but is there really concrete evidence to support it? And the answer is yes, there is. And very often people jump to the sexy stuff, which is investments, but they very often overlook the risk management. So we like to take a Maslow's hierarchy of needs type of approach and say, let's ring fence and protect you from your risks. Let's protect your income statement, so to speak. Because how do we create wealth? We create wealth from our income. And once we've protected that, then we can start to look at wealth creation. So let's get your will and estate planning done. Then let's get your medical aid in place, because that is the most important thing. Then let's ensure your income. Then let's protect your dependents. Then let's look at things like debt, lump sums, and critical illness. Obviously, critical illness is an incredibly important component, but it's expensive. If we have medical aid and income protection, a lot of those needs are mitigated. And then lastly, putting in place your investments. If a risk event takes place and we lose our income, all of our investments fall over. So it's a very logical process, but I think having it documented, having it supported by stats and research, and most importantly, being able to communicate it to your customers in a way that is simple and easy to understand. How do we structure cover? So again, this forms part of our philosophy. Why are we only using lump sums? Why don't we use a combination of income and lump sum? How do clients' needs change over time? And how can we meet those needs most efficiently, not only on day one, but also throughout the client's lifetime? And this just goes to show that stat that I referred to earlier, the True South research study conducted in 2016 that proves to us that clients over the age of 55 are overinsured. What can we do to fix that? And a lot of those answers sit within our risk philosophy. So whenever we're looking at a client, whenever we're quoting, these are the things that are going through our mind. And we want to discuss them with you. We want to, share our ideas and help overcome a lot of these issues. Okay. The third pillar, and I think this is the most important one for us at Icon, is really how can we save you time? And we've flipped the old BC model on its head and kind of completely changed everything. And this is our process when it comes to quoting for a client, creating a solution, presenting it to your client, and getting them covered. And then we've looked to close that loop with an efficient and effective review process. So I'm going to take you through it step by step. But as I said, it's really our goal at Icon to become embedded in your advice process. If we can't do that, then we're missing a trick and we're doing something wrong. But please, that's our goal. We want to talk to all of you individually to find out how we can make that a thing. And if we can't, we want to understand why and how we can improve our process or change our process so that it's streamlined and fits or aligns with your advice process. So I'm going to start off with the old. And this is not taking a dig at the old way of doing things or the traditional way of doing things. And it's also not saying that we have everything figured out and our processes are perfect. But I think what we've tried to do is look at a lot of the inefficiencies that have plagued the industry for a long, long time and say, you know, how can we remove the bottlenecks? How can we streamline things to work better for everyone? So in the old world, the advisor has their broker consultants, whether it's 10, 6, 7, 4, doesn't matter. You have your broker consultants with each of your product providers. And whenever you're looking at a client, whether it's a new client or you're performing a review, you send all the information to your broker consultants. The problem is those broker consultants work with products that are all different, nuanced, can't necessarily be compared on in a like-for-like manner. And they do the quotes to the best of their ability. And eventually, they get back to the advisor in some way, shape, or form. Very often, not like for like. The nuances aren't explained. There's mistakes, and everything has to be quality checked. Whether it's done by you or your admin team or your paraplanners, those quotes get quality checked, they get compared, and very often there's a lot of back and forth. After a few iterations of back and forth, we eventually get it right. Maybe not fully understanding all of the differences and nuances between the quotes, but we consolidate that information and we meet with our clients. That takes a long, long time. Just putting together a comparison and consolidating that information can take hours. Then we meet with our clients. Generally, it's a 2 to 3 meeting process. And then we have the application process, which happens afterwards. Numerous different application forms, numerous different underwriting processes, multitude of different communication channels, turnaround times, underwriting philosophies, FICA requirements. Generally, there's a lot of back and forth happening here as well. On average, the underwriting process takes, a month, 2 months, in some cases, 3, 4, 5 months. But eventually, we might get the business on the books. Hopefully, we get a favorable underwriting decision, and 75% of the time, that business might be put in place. A very inefficient process, if you have to ask me. And again, we've tried to solve this. And again, there's always going to be inefficiencies, whether it's an Icon inefficiency or an inefficiency within the product provider, but we've tried to remove the advisor from that as much as possible. So this is how we've done it at Icon. And again, it's not perfect. We are always looking to improve it. And we welcome your feedback. So we do have a feedback channel, which I will share with you guys at the end of the presentation. If you think we could do things better, because we thrive off feedback. So at Icon, you're working with your clients, whether it's a review or a brand new client, and you send us the information that you have on them. We have a quote request form, which we've developed to gather as much information on that client as possible. And we don't just want to know the stock standard information, name, age, occupation, income. We want to really understand your client. The same as if we were sitting next to you in that first meeting, understanding who that person is, who their dependents are, what their needs are, what their worries are, like what their concerns are, their dreams. And we want to get that information to craft the most suitable solution for them. So we've created a 3-page quote request form. Now, you think 3 pages and you shudder. This covers personal cover, business assurance, and investments. And you can complete it as little or as much as you please. And we've made it so that it's globally applicable to all other insurance companies. So the more info you give to us here and to all of your other broker consultants, most likely the better quotes and solutions you're going to get back. So we want to understand things like, who are their children? Are they married? How old are their dependents? What is their debt? What is their estate duty liability? What is the term of their needs? Do they have any specific concerns that we should be aware of, so that we can go and research and offer or suggest the most suitable product? So again, a quote request form seems relatively trivial, but by getting this extra information, it really equips us to craft the best possible solution for that client. And you can save this, keep it on record. It serves as your notes, and you can refer back to it in the future at subsequent reviews to see how that client's situation might have changed. We send that information back to the advisor. All of the quotes, they're comparable, they're as like for like as possible. And then, very importantly, ideally, we would like to have what we call a co-creation session. A co-creation session is a 15-minute online meeting with your solution specialist to run through all of the quotes and to collaborate with you, to get your input, to make the changes that you need to those quotes. And most importantly, to make sure that you are 100% comfortable in positioning those quotes or solutions with your customer. We've made that really easy. So we've got a booking link in everyone's email signature. And I would suggest that you guys also look at using this in your own businesses if you have a similar problem. It's called Calendly, works very well. So in the bottom of everyone's email signature, there'll be a link. You can click that link and you can directly book some time in their diary. It's a short, very high impact meeting that you'll have. And again, we'll point out all of the things that we think you should know about the different products. And if you don't feel comfortable about anything, we can give you the information on the spot that you need to be able to properly answer any question your client may throw at you. We've also developed a menu of services. So this is, again, to give you the meeting or the content that you need for your client meetings. But equally important, it's also to save us time. In the past, we reverted to giving you everything in the kitchen sink with your quotes, but we started to realize that maybe it's not always useful in every situation. You might just be weighing up options for a client, to see if you should reach out to them for a meeting. Or maybe it isn't a very analytical client, in which case you don't need all of this positioning material. So we've developed a menu of services. You can pick and choose the things that you need for that client meeting. And some of the examples are what we call a rebalanced option. So we'll give you like for like quotes, but maybe you want a quote that has been restructured according to your philosophy or Icon's philosophy. Premium analysis. So maybe you want to have a view, not only today, but over the next 15 years. How are those premiums going to behave? What are the guarantees? If the client were to save the difference in premium, how much money would they have saved over 15 years if it had been reinvested? Claims research, marketing material, product guides, and then lastly, our full proposal, which is, the whole hog solution. It's a 5 or 6 page document, and it's all of the meeting prep that you need to sit down with your clients and show that you've done the necessary work. And that proposal also makes allowance for you to add other product providers that Icon may not work with. Once the co-creation session has been completed and you've got all of your documents needed for your client meeting, which look like this. This is an example of our client proposal. So I've just taken a few pages from it. So it comes with a beautiful cover page. It's co-branded, or it's actually not co-branded. It has your branding. First of all, we have personal claim stats. So these are claim stats relevant to that individual, whether it's a 35-year-old male or a 65-year-old female. We will pull claim stats relevant to that person to help highlight and identify their most likely risks. The next page is a beautiful summary of all of the quote options. So we do, premium analysis and comparison. You can very easily see an overview of all of the quote options, the cover amounts, and the corresponding benefit increases. The next is our premium analysis page. So we look at premium guarantees. How do those guarantees work? And a projection over time. I think it's really important that this is disclosed to clients, especially how guarantees work, because come 10 years and there's a 25% increase and a client says, I was never made aware, I didn't know, that should never be the case. Then we look at the value of premium savings. So this is a very nice framing tool that we've developed to say, if you go with option A over option B, if you make this change, you will save 392 Rand a month from day one, but the value of that over a 15-year term is significant. And it's really nice to be able to frame things in this way for your clients, to give them context about how their seemingly insignificant financial decisions can actually have quite a significant impact on their financial outcomes in the future. We've put actual illustrative increases, percentages in the table next to that. So you can see not only the nominal percentage increase in the premium, but actually the effective premium increase over time. And then a nice little illustrative graph as well, just as a bit of a visual aid to support that conversation. This is a very busy slide. So this is the product or benefits analysis that we've done. What we are actually probably going to do in the future is strip this out as a separate document, and it can be used as a reference. So this is our product research, due diligence, the important things that you need to be aware of, and obviously make your clients aware of when they are selecting an insurance company. And then lastly, we've added a critical illness calculator. So how much critical illness is enough? That's the very elusive question in our industry. And we've tried to systemize this a bit. We've put in place a logical thought process to help clients quantify the amount of critical illness cover that they need, because very often clients are overinsured, and very often advisors are too scared to make the recommendation to reduce cover. This is a process that you can take your clients through. It takes 5 minutes, and you can both come to a conclusion at the end of it, have it signed off, and it forms part of your record of advice to justify the quantum of critical illness cover that you've chosen. So meeting prep done. Icon is willing to do a lot of that for you. Then the client meeting. Hopefully you can get that wrapped up in one meeting, but Icon has taken care of the application process. So we have created what we call a universal application form. It's a single application form that can be used for multiple product providers at Icon. And it makes use of tele-underwriting. It's a 4-page document. It's streamlined, it's quick, it's simple. We've completely recreated it to make it look much, much better. And it includes all of the necessary information that we need to capture that case. And again, you can keep this on record at your next client review, or if you see that client again in the future and they need more cover, so long as their information hasn't changed, you can use the same form again if you're doing business through Icon. So we've really tried to streamline the underwriting process, take as much of that admin burden away as possible, and save you time. Because at the end of the day, who really wants to complete a 13-page application form? Then, once that case comes into the system, our team handles it. We like to think we handle it extremely well and very efficiently. And what's really important is that it's one process. So we handle all of the complexity on the back end with the different product providers. And most importantly, we send you consolidated communications on your cases. What we are doing next is closing the gap between the application process or the new business process and the review process. So again, Icon wants to get as involved as possible with your reviews. And we've created, or in the process of creating, a really, really powerful and comprehensive review checklist. What this is going to do is make your reviews powerful and hopefully add more value, not only to your clients, but also to you as an advisor. So what opportunities, what really interesting conversations can we have? How can we improve our client situation through those reviews and not just have them being a time-consuming burden that is forced upon us? So that's what we're going to be covering in our next session. And also something that's coming soon are drastically improved new business communications. So we are aware that our new business communications haven't been up to scratch. They haven't had enough detail. They have been confusing at times. So as early as next week, you'll be seeing some very sexy comms coming from Icon, a lot more accurate, a lot more detail. You should never have to pick up the phone to call us or email us about what's going on with your cases. So we're really excited about that. Please look out for them. If you aren't receiving new business comms from Icon, please get in touch with whoever you deal with at Icon, and we'll get it sorted. Please also check your junk email and make sure that the service at Icon email address isn't going into spam, because that's the email address that these will be coming from. So look out for that. So a completely recreated quote process. That's what we are super excited about. Again, please use it. Please use the menu of services. Take it for a test drive and let us know what you think. The last pillar of our value proposition, and probably or definitely the most important one, is how can we achieve better client outcomes? And if we get that quote process working, together as a team, as a partnership, we can make this happen for you. And it's going to be a bit of a case study. And we're looking at a client, Robert Peacock. So how would Icon approach this client situation to give them a better outcome in terms of their cover? So Robert Peacock is a 38-year-old. He's a soil scientist, very niche occupation, and he is married with 2 children, and he also has parental dependents. This is Robert's cover at the moment. So Robert has 10 million Rand life cover. He has 5 million Rand lump sum disability. He has 20,000 Rand income protection, and he has 2 million Rand critical illness cover. And for this, he is paying quite a hefty premium. So how would Icon approach this client? This is obviously looking at this client's needs through the lens of our philosophy. What we would do is we would restructure his life cover, first of all. So we believe very strongly in using a combination of income and lump sum benefits. Income to serve his dependents on an ongoing basis for their basic living expenses. Lump sum needs to cater for capital needs. We would split this cover up, 40,000 Rand per month and 2 million Rand lump sum. So that's a very nice replacement ratio on Robert's income. His family will be well looked after. And the present value of that life income is 8.8 million Rand. Combined, he's getting 10.8 million Rand cover, which is more than he has today. Disability lump sum, we would reduce the disability lump sum down only to cover a portion of his debt and any once-off needs in the event of his permanent disability, which is a very, very unlikely risk event. But we would focus more on covering his net income. We would cover as much of his income as possible, which is 43,456 Rand net. And the present value of that cover is 10 million Rand. So again, significantly more cover that he's getting by rebalancing it to a combination of income and lump sum. And then critical illness. So this would obviously be a decision based on the conversation with Robert, but he's definitely overinsured. Considering Robert has medical aid and gap cover and good income protection, 2 million Rand is just too much, and it is exorbitantly expensive. We would recommend reducing that, obviously having used our critical illness calculator with Robert and getting his agreement on the reduction, but we would reduce 250,000 Rand in this scenario, give him a critical illness income benefit, which pays 56,000 Rand per month for 12 months, and then supplement that with some standalone cancer and cardiovascular benefits, which will cover him for the four most likely critical illness events: cancer, stroke, heart attack, and coronary artery bypass. By making that change, we're able to save him over 1,000 Rand a month. Seemingly insignificant saving, but what can Robert do with 1,081 Rand per month? He should invest it, and over a 27-year time horizon, which is to age 65, that will be worth 1.8 million Rand, assuming that his investment grows at 10% per annum. That's powerful. That's advice. And that's what we're trying to do with every single client that comes through Icon. And we want to work with you guys specifically around client solutions at the point in time when you're quoting for your clients, when you're doing reviews for your clients. We want to have those co-creation sessions. We want to have these conversations. And yeah, we want to get better outcomes for your clients. So just to finish off on that initial train of thought where I said the product isn't the product. We aren't selling products. We aren't selling financial vehicles. We aren't selling insurance. We are selling a process, and your process is your product. Your advice is your product. The way you make clients feel is your product. The security that you give them is your product. And the journey is really your product. And we really hope that Icon can join you along that journey, support you, save you time, help you scale your business to give more advice to South Africans, and help get better client outcomes at the end of the day.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Thank you, Jono. That was great. So there aren't any specific questions in the chat box. We did get some fantastic feedback from Andre Janssen van Buren, so thank you very much for that. If there's anything else you want to find out, please pop myself or Jonathan an email and we'll get back to you. So we're going to be sending through a post-webinar pack with all the little goodies that we've discussed today, and we'll also be sending a copy of the recording next week for you. So please keep your eyes open for correspondence for our new episode in the series, and continue to give us that valuable feedback. It really helps us build what we're building. And thank you for your continued support. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.